So, good morning, everyone. So this is the third in the summer series of the mindfulness and meditation session. And this practice is generally done seated. So normally I would be sitting in a chair. And for many of you, that's going to be the most comfortable option because we're going to be sitting for around 30 minutes. So it's not comfortable in everybody's knees, everybody's hips. People's posture sometimes starts to collapse a little bit if sitting in this position, because most of us don't sit like this very often. Some people do, and again, some people are very open in their hips and would feel really comfortable here. So you're going to make a choice in terms of whether you want to sit on a chair or whether you want to find some way to sit on the floor, or I've got a bolster today to support me here. So in this series, we're focusing not really that directly, but indirectly on developing compassion. So compassion tends to come from an open heart, if you like, a place where we feel warm towards, safe with, comfortable, at ease with ourselves and others. So that's kind of where what we're working to cultivate, but we're taking a less direct approach than some methods of meditation and mindfulness. So that's enough for the introduction. So finding your happy seat, whether it's on a chair or whether it's seated on the floor on some form of support. And just settling in. So finding your own way to settle in and let go of anything that's going on that's distracting you in your mind or in your body, and just maybe have a wriggle around for a moment too. So wriggle and wiggle. So you're not doing anything particular, but you're just kind of ensuring that things haven't got into kind of stiff, stuck, rigid kind of position. So just have a wriggle and settle. I'll ring the bells in a moment as a way of connecting with, starting with the practice. And you find, as I say, a comfortable seat. And if you're happy to close the eyes, close the eyes. If you're not comfortable with that, then lowering the gaze for a more internal, inward focus. So having a sense of your body, the whole body for a moment. Sitting, any contact points with the floor, any contact points with your support under your bottom might be also supporting your back. So a sense of the body supported and having contact with the ground. And then a sense of the spine, specifically of the spine. And here we're looking for a sense of buoyancy, a sense of lightness, a sense of upward energy, if you like, through the spine to ensure we keep our spine both healthy in this position, but also open for the breath and that sense of awakeness, that alertness in the body through that slightly upward energy from what is our current base below the spine, the sitting bones on the chair, on the support under us, and a sense of gentle uplift. You can almost imagine a breeze circulating around the spine, spiraling upwards, and coming to the base of the skull, and then further that sense of upward energy through the crown of the head. So we don't want a rigidity, we don't want a stuckness in that, we want a lightness, we want, another way of thinking of it is the rib cage floating above the pelvis and the head floating above the rib cage. Just get that sense of alignment, lightness, buoyancy, connectivity from the connection with the sitting bones, grounded, and our sense of support from the earth. So by doing this, we're just getting a closer relationship with our body. So we often hold tension around the shoulders. So if you want to lift the shoulders upwards, rolling them back and down, forward, up, back and down, forward, up, back and down. And just see if that frees a little bit more space for shoulders, so the neck feels long, a little bit more space maybe between the ears and the drop of the shoulders. And this sense of space in the front of the collarbones from shoulder to shoulder, that breadth of space to allow the shoulders to just comfortably drift slightly away from each other, to have that openness for the breath to come. Just noticing the breath. And if you feel like there's a tightness or a strain, or there's just a holding going on, then just letting the breath release through an out breath, which might be a sigh. That might further release holding patterns around the shoulders, around the jaw, around the mouth, around the eyes, around the forehead. So a little bit of softness now to the body, a little bit of softness in the belly, softness in the thighs, in the hands, in the feet. While maintaining that sense of support through the spine, through the lengthening of the spine, connection to the sitting bones on the chair or the support, and that link to the ground through feet. And again, coming back to the breath. And seeing if we can connect now into the space within. So we might feel the breath in the belly. We might feel the breath in the sides of the rib cage. We might discover the breath through the nostrils, and the air changing as the cool air comes in and the warm air goes out through the nostrils. So connecting with the interior or internal sense of the body, through the breath. And if possible, not just thinking of the front of the body now, so thinking of space behind the belly, the lower back, space behind the chest, in the upper back and shoulders, where the lungs, most of our lungs are. Space at the back, but filled by the lungs. And if you're thinking about the nose, then the whole space, the nasal cavity that goes right into the skull. That space for the air. And just checking in with self now. How it feels to be you. How it feels to connect with the body. How it feels to connect with the breath. How it feels to sit. As you connect with the stillness, as you connect with the stillness without and the stillness within. The tangible sense of energy within stillness. Maybe it's a sense of steadiness. Maybe it's a sense of gentle vibration. Maybe it's a sense of warmth. Maybe it just feels like a place of safety and retreat. So we cultivate in our sense of body, of breath, of internal aliveness and connection. We're living bodies, breathing bodies. We have a center, we have support. We have a sense of the ground beneath us holding us. We have a sense of air above us, creating a sense of space above and around. And inside we have that sense of steadiness and spaciousness. These seemingly polar opposites, when we bring them together, can really bring us into almost another dimension. We can hold the ground and the sky. We can hold the steadiness and the gentle vibration or energy. We can hold the steadiness and the flow. If we can sit with, be held by, sit in the presence of, be filled with, be nurtured by, grow through, be transformed from. So the potential of our own being. Through stepping inwards to step outwards. Pausing inward. So we're looking for the quieter voice rather than the noise of the mind. We're looking maybe for the questions rather than the answers. We're looking to listen We're looking to learn. We're looking to find a connection at a subtle level, beneath the chatter, beneath the worry, beneath the views of others, beneath the judgments, beneath the same stories, beneath the past, away from the future. We are ready to notice. We're ready to listen. We're ready to hear. We're ready to see. We're ready to feel. We're ready to experience. We're aware. We can sense. We can pick up on those elements of ourselves that have been quiet, but ready for our attention should we give it. So settling into that space, getting familiar with that territory, inviting that sense of deeper wisdom that knows how to look after us, that knows how to be compassionate, that knows what's important, that knows what is valuable. It's like a treasure box waiting to be opened. So just being open to that possibility around the clamoring voices in the head, around the changes of mood of self and others, around the changing environment, around the waves of life, that there sits the treasure box. You might want to peep it open, you might want to dive in there looking for the treasure. But take time, listen, look, discover, be curious, be open. And when the time's right, allow that treasure to bring its message, cut through the layers of complication to the simple thing. simple message, the thing you need to see, the thing you need to hear, the place you need to be. So, with this treasure box in mind, if it's a helpful image to you, then maybe even with those shiny treasures inside, there is still room for more. So, imagine a few more treasures being handed to you, or handed or placed in the box. Maybe new insights that are needed right now. Maybe the box is full of treasures, but maybe not really everything that you need for right now. Things may change for you, new challenges, new situations. So, dropping a few more treasures in for what you might need now, or likely to need in the future. So they're not words, they're just a sense, something with a spirit of the right energy, the right tone, the right brightness, the right smoothness, the right texture, the right taste, right smell, whatever the treasure might be. To fill in your treasure box so you know you have a little bit more there to live with, live through, live around, take out, have a look at, maybe put back, maybe take away and hold in your hand for a little while. Maybe you need to feel it in your hands, maybe you need to just keep it in your heart. So when the lid feels firmly closed and the key gets locked, then maybe it's a sign to return really gently. So the key can unlock, the lid can open wide, and the beauty of the treasures can be seen, refreshed as necessary. And these treasures are for you, but it's fine and it's good if the treasures need to be handed over. The treasure needs to be just sent by thought, sent by love and care to others. So be willing to get into that treasure box and have a little bit of a search around for something that might just be the right thing for someone else. Connecting, showing care, recognizing a need in others. Even if you're not really sure what the need is and they're not really sure what the need is, it's just something that's sending them off balance, or sending them inward, but not inward to the heart, but inward to the fuzziness of the head and the questions and the distress. So sometimes we're not even clear within that state what we need. So if they need a little bit of help through the fuzziness, then just hand over a treasure. And when they're ready, when they're kind of have their moment of peace or their moment of space, they might be able to just take hold of the treasure and regain their sense of connection, their sense of steadiness, their sense to meet that challenge, to meet that need, not on a superficial level, not on a level of distress, but on a level of, okay, I can face this, I can work with this. I've got power, I've got the support, I've got what I need. So there's a power to treasure, to real treasures. There's power to transform. To take you on, to take you in, to take you back, to take you deeper, or to just be a trusted thing to hold on to through the storm. To remind you you're not alone, to remind others that they're not alone, that you're thinking and caring. So we're fine to hold on to this sense of treasure box of the heart. But also now just being really aware of the body again, not just the chest around, the space around the chest or the heart, but the whole of the torso, whole of the breathing body. Place you feel movement through the breath, the belly, the lower back, the waist, the ribs, collarbones, the shoulders, the upper back, deep in the pelvis, feeling the hands on the body. Feet on the ground, body in the chair, being held by the ground. Really feeling the earth. Holding you. And being aware of the space. Space around you, space above you, space behind you. And again, just returning to the wave of the breath. Softness, hopefully for you, the security, gentleness, the empowerment of the breath. So just sitting with that for a few moments longer, and I'll ring the bells again to signal the return journey. Okay, so the eyes are still closed and just fluttering the eyes open, maybe looking down. And just let the head nod gently up and down. So I don't need to take the head back. Just a gentle nod up and down so that there'll be a little bit of a weight in for the head and the space between the top of the spine and the skull. So nothing quick, nothing going to create any problems there for you. And if you're comfortable, just taking the ear to one side, so the ear over to one shoulder slightly, just slightly, gently bringing it back to center. And over to the other side, so it may be a little bit tight on one side or both sides, so really slow. Just a couple more times each side. Relax the shoulder, feel the length in the neck, but just like an soft opening rather than no strain. No force, just within the limits, more a luxury kind of lengthening. And when you've done that, back to center. Bring the hands together and just rub the hands together to recreate our sense of connection with body, movement, and energy. So, just to remind you that we can bring these moments of pause, we can bring these moments of connection, we can reconnect with our treasure and to just ask the questions we need to ask without looking for answers. The answers might not be quite so easy to communicate in words. Okay, so resting the hands. So any moment in the day, sometimes it's really good to just look out and find the most space we can and just take some breaths and just listen. Yeah, listen to the noises and listen to our hearts. Sometimes we just need to feel the ground, or if we're outdoors, just have a connection with a plant or a tree, whether that's looking, touching, smelling. And sometimes once we kind of get familiar with this space inside and recognize its potential for supporting us, healing us, transforming us, settling us, just dealing with things as they are, then we can dip into that treasure box more in the moment and just settle there and look in and be aware of the treasures of the heart. So, thank you for your presence and bringing your treasures. So, and I will say goodbye for now. So this is the end of the summer early morning series. And I'll be in touch with some options to do this more regularly if you wish to join me on a more regular basis for early morning meditations to instill this kind of practice if you find this helpful. Thank you again. Take care and softly move into your day.